Hello.
All right. Thank you for thank you for putting that on chat. I was actually Nikesh. We actually started, but then unfortunately I was speaking on mute. I'm so sorry about that. All right. So let me get started once again. So my name is Bhupinder. I would be your trainer for next 9 days. Overall, this schedule, the overall time period that we have for this entire program is 18 hours. We would be covering the entire PMP in 18 hours, which is 2 hours every day, spanned across next 9 days, which is Monday to Friday this weekend and this week, and next week again Monday to Thursday. We would be meeting at the same time period that we have scheduled. In between, we would be taking one break of half an hour duration every day. That is to cool down my vocal cords and at the same point of time to complete my dinner as well. And of course, we can utilize the same opportunity at your place to depending upon the location that you're in, to get the breakfast or lunch or dinner wherever you are. So yeah, that's how we'd be structuring the entire course. Now, to introduce myself, let me take the opportunity and introduce myself. My name is Bhupinder Singh. I've got 18, 19 years of experience, industry experience. I undertake trainings, which I'm giving it to you. It's more of as a freelancer, which I undertake. I am currently employed with one of the organizations. It's not that this is my full-time job. I do this out of passion. I like providing trainings. I am also working as external consultant for some of the companies to help them improve their processes. My primary work, which I do, is on process improvement. So I'm Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I've trained people, the executive level staff, on Lean Six Sigma concepts. So I've trained them on becoming a champion to drive the Lean Six Sigma culture. I have also trained the grassroots level staff on yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and so on. Have implemented the projects of Six Sigma, have created the pipeline for the projects, then looked at which one has to be prioritized, how do you create an entire program. So all of that is my primary work. For one of the business unit, I head the entire CSI function, entire continuous improvement function for multiple countries. From certification perspective, I'm Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and that's my primary work. I'm also Lean Six Sigma Diploma Leader certified. I'm PMP and Prince2 practitioner, certified on both. Now, I have done PMP and Prince2 because it's again related to my work. My work is primarily on projects. So that's why I wanted to do PMP, but then while doing PMP, I had always had a curiosity, what is the main difference between PMP and Prince2? Now, I've seen both the ends of the world. I've seen what is PMP, I've seen what is Prince2, and I've done both the certifications. Primary difference, I think both the certifications are very similar. Jargons are different. The terminologies that you use are different. Some people tend to say that Prince2 is more prescriptive. I don't believe that. I think and at times Prince2 becomes more prescriptive, and some other times PMP becomes more prescriptive. Main difference is Prince2 talks about what has to be done, and it gives you the liberty of how do you want to implement it. It doesn't talk about how it has to be done. In certain places, it becomes a little more prescriptive, but then again, tool and technique, it doesn't speak about. PMP speaks about what has to be done and how has to be done, right? So that's where it becomes more handy by giving you more knowledge about the tools and techniques. I have also done ITIL V3 Expert both on lifecycle and the capability module. So that is around 11, 12 exams that you have to clear to become the ITIL V3 Expert. Since I had the CSI function in IT, that's why this certification was kind of a mandate, and it helped me move up the ladder as well. I'm MSP practitioner, which is on the program management. COVID-5 practitioner since my work is on IT. MOR, which is from the risk management perspective. I have done this. Any project has a potential of failing. If somebody says that all my projects has been successful, either he is lying or he has not done the projects. One or the other project in the entire career will fail, and that's for sure. Because the projects when we take up, there are two types of risks which impact us, known risk and unknown risks. You can plan for known risks, but there will be unknown risks which will impact your project. So to manage it effectively and reduce the chance of failure, increase the chance of success is all about MOR. I am lean expert, ISO 9000 auditor and implementer, which is on quality management structure, balanced scorecard implementation expert, MCP, simulation, advanced certification I've done, which helps me build a simulation and showcase it to the process owners about the changes that we propose and how it's going to look like in the real environment before before the change is imbibed. That helps them take informed decision. I've also done ACP. So yeah, that's about me. That's what I've done. I think that's a short introduction about me. I'm not a short introduction. Well, I've given a long introduction, but then that's from perspective of letting you know that you are in the good hands, right? Now let's get started. I think I'm going to record this session. There are only 2 participants who have joined. There were 7 participants scheduled. So what we're going to do is we'll record this and send it out to other participants so that they can join tomorrow and listen to the session. And when they join tomorrow, they have not missed anything. But in the meantime, can we have the introduction of Nikesh and Somik?
Shomik Prasad.
Yeah, this is Nikesh.
Sure, Nikesh. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Nikesh. I'm from Kerala, and I was working in Caribbean West Indies for a company called Activo, and I was a project manager there for the past 18 months. And before that, I was in Qatar, Doha, and there I work as an area manager for the for Huawei technologies for 4 years. And like before that, I was in India in the basically I'm from the telecom domain.
All right.
And
yeah.
I have an experience of like 16 years. And like as an project management side, I have an experience like 5.5 years.
Right. And Nikesh, so basically currently where are you located at the moment?
At the moment, I am in India,
okay.
back in home.
Okay. All right.
Working in West Indies, like in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. All right. Pleasure to have you here. Somik, your introduction, please.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Shomik Prasad. Actually, I belong from Calcutta. So I'm working with Hewlett Packard India's Wells Private Limited for last 6 years as an Oracle DBA. So currently I'm in Mauritius into one transition project called State Bank of Mauritius. So where I'm a database working as a database administrator, leading a DBA team in the State Bank of Mauritius.
Right, right. And Shomik, how about your overall experience? How many years of overall experience you have got?
6 years of experience.
All right, all right. Pleasure to have you with us. Great that you have taken the opportunity and joined us and in the PMP session. Now this session, as we said earlier, is going to be spanned across in 9 days, 18 hours overall. And every day we would be covering 2 hours during this time frame. So we'll be covering 2 hours. Every day, somewhere around half an hour to 45 minutes later after we start, we're going to take one break, half an hour break, and then we'll get further started. So that's that break I'm going to utilize for my dinner, and probably the same you can do at your place, some refreshment or something. Now, during the session, we would complete the content, and if you have any doubts, any concerns, you can ask me at that point of time, or you can send me any email later on as well. I would be sharing a lot of videos with you, which I would expect you to see after the session is delivered. Before you come for the next day session, I would expect you to see a couple of videos. So those videos are from perspective of giving you more understanding about the content that we're going to speak about. So that's how we're going to proceed further. Let's get started now. So give me just a minute. Let me open up all the documents and then we shall get started. Content which we entire concept, and then again somewhere during the training we would go into details of it. So all the content gets repeated primarily 3 times. With that, multiple times getting the same content getting repeated, what happens with that? It gets embedded into our mind. So this is going to be the structure of the entire training. PMP, Project Management Professional, is the entire meaning of PMP. It was started by PMI, which is Project Management Institute. PMI is founded in 1969. Now there is a lot of demand of PMI in the industry, a lot of demand of PMP in the industry. Why? One, this was started long ago. It was started in 1969. People who started this PMP, they are sitting in the board of directors of big companies. So whenever they ask that their project manager, whenever they give any kind of contracts, they ask their project managers to be PMP certified. So it has become an eligibility criteria. Would you get a job after becoming a PMP as a project manager? Not really. You get eligible, but then clearing the interview again depends upon your negotiation skills, about your, how do you give interview. Depends upon a lot of other factors, but you get eligible. So that's very important. The clients as well, whenever the clients ask, whenever the clients give the contract, or even when the companies pitch for the contract, they mention that all our project managers are PMP certified. With that, what they're trying to do is they're trying to give the confidence to the client that your projects is in right hands. Our predictability of your project would be much higher than giving a project to some other company which doesn't have certified project managers. And even if the contract is signed, the clients look forward to it and they say that my project manager has to be a PMP certified. That is why there's huge demand. To get certified, you need to have 35 PDUs, which you will get through Skill Logic. Of course, we are not going to be covering the entire 35 hours in this training itself. So the training is going to be around 20 to 24 hours, including the breaks. The remaining hours get covered through the mock exams that we have, right? Those mock exams give you the remaining hours to complete your 35 overall hours. However, as soon as the training is completed, you get your 35 PDU certificate. To maintain the certification in 3 years time period, you need to accumulate 60 PDUs, right? Which is 20 PDUs every year. How do you accumulate? You can transfer the knowledge to your people. So let's say in any organization, if you're giving any kind of seminar on project management, not necessarily PMP, on project management, if you're speaking to your colleagues, you're teaching them about the project management, you're teaching your team members about your project management, you can claim those number of hours as a PDUs. If you're a PMI member, there are a lot of webinars which happen. If you join those webinars, for each hour you get 1 PDU. If you upskill yourself, you do ITIL, Prince2, or any other courses which are slightly related to project management, you will earn PDUs by learning. So all the PMP says is either you spread the knowledge of project management or you absorb the knowledge of project management. You continue to upskill yourself or upskill somebody else. If you do that, you earn those 60 PDUs, right? Earn 60 PDUs, submit into the website, and then you have to pay a small fee over there, and that's how it gets renewed for next 3 years. If it expires, you need to give your exam once again. PMBOK is Project Management Body of Knowledge, based on which the entire exam comes. Now, I strongly recommend you to become a PMI member so that you get your own personal copy of PMBOK. However, I don't recommend you to read any other book apart from the book which you're going to get from Skill Logic. I hope you have already got it. If you have not got it, you will get it in a short span of time. Just go through that book. That is sufficient. That is more than enough. Go through that book, go through this training, give mock exams, and that's sufficient. After that, before giving exam, you can brush through the PMBOK. What is the other benefit of becoming a member of PMI? You get access to 24/7 library of project management books. Through PMI, you can volunteer for different projects, so you get exposure. You get to meet other project managers. There are a lot of other opportunities of meeting other project managers which come, so you expand your network. Those are the additional benefits of becoming a member of PMI. Plus, your examination which happens, you can become a PMI member and give exam, or you might not want to become a PMI member and give the exam. In case you want to become a PMI member, there is a fees for PMI, but the overall fees which comes, including membership of PMI plus the exam fees, is slightly lower than the fee that you pay for exam directly if you don't become the PMI member. Why PMP? It increases your value in the industry. It increases your, it puts a lot of demand for your profile. It changes how others look at your ability. They understand that, okay, whatever you're saying, there is some rationale behind it. So you start speaking the jargons which are already understood in the industry. you understand the language of project management, you speak the same language. There's a lot of weightage in whatever you're proposing because it's backed by the industry standards. So that's the value of becoming a PMP. Eligibility criteria, I'm sure you pretty much cover this eligibility criteria. I would help you fill your application. So what I would do is I will send out application template to you in which you can, before submitting the application to PMI, just fill that application template and send it out to me for review so that I can let you know if there is any changes that you need to make. What you need to achieve to get to become eligible to write the PMP exam, you need to have a bachelor's degree, which you have. 35 hours contact hours, which you'll get from Skill Logic, 4,500 hours of leading and directing project management work. Now, it might sound slightly confusing if you have worked in a project environment, which you have. Shilpa has just mentioned that she is into testing, and Praveen, you also have mentioned that you have worked into housing. So in both the situations when you have worked in the project environment, whatever you have done in the project environment in different phases, which you're going to speak about, mention your experience and mention what was your role in that in the template which I'm going to send. I will help you refine it so that you can put that template, put that experience, code that experience in PMI, and even if it comes back for audit, it's just because it was by chance, not because of lack of information. Examination pattern, it is for 4 hours. It's pretty exhaustive exam. So exam is going to be for 4 hours. There will be 200 questions which you have to answer. Out of 200 questions, 25 questions are pre-test questions. So these are only coming to you for testing, for validating how do you answer. Depending upon your answer, it will come as scoring questions for the future participants. But at the moment, those are non-scoring questions. But you would not know which are those 25 questions. So you have to attempt all 200 thinking you're getting scored on them. Right? Grading is based on you don't get any pass percentage or anything of that sort. It's just pass or fail. Have you, if it says proficient, moderately proficient, you have cleared it. If it says below proficient, better luck next time, right? So these are the grades which they give. Always remember, attempt all the questions. There is no negative marking, right? And when you are attempting the question, generally remember the first option which you select is generally the right answer. Unless you have a compelling reason to change your answer, don't change your answer. Because often the first option that you select is the right one. And attempt all the questions. Secondly, take at least one break during this 4 hours, because 4 hours is very exhaustive. It gets difficult. The mind tends to get shut down after a couple of hours, and you tend to miss out on the keywords. For example, if it's mentioned as not, no, never, in between somewhere in the sentence, and if you don't read those keywords, the entire meaning of the sentence is going to change, and then you will choose the wrong option, right? Take at least one break. You have sufficient time period. If you initially you will find 4 hours to be very less for 200 questions, but if you have attempted 5 or 6 mock exams, you will be okay with it. You won't find any trouble with that, right? So take at least one break, and also we are humans, right? So we need bio break. Just take one break, go out and come back, and then be fresh, and then take the remaining part of the exam. Manage your time very well. Generally, out of 200 questions, 100 questions will be very straightforward, and 100 questions out of that would be meant to waste your time so that you spend more time on that. This is how the examination pattern is. From initiating and closing, these are very straightforward questions. These are the process groups. You're asking something, Somik?
Yeah, I just want to, just sorry to interrupt.
Nope.
Thing is that, the thing is that, this is all about the PMI. Is there any difference between CAPM CAPM and this PMI? Because, I have registered for the CAPM.
There is a huge difference for CAPM and the PMP. Now, again, huge difference in the sense that the certification is different, but otherwise the content is absolutely same. So if you have registered for CAPM, that's fine. That's fine. The PMP and the CAPM, the questions and the content absolutely is same. So the entire thing is going to be same. Don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. To the cycle of Deming, which is PDCA. If I have to travel from here to, let's say, any place, if I have to travel from California to Las Vegas by road, I first will plan my journey. I'll plan my journey, where am I going to take the break, how fast am I going to go, from where am I going to refuel my car. All of those things I will plan. The date which I'm going to travel, the time which I'm going to travel, I'm going to plan it. After planning, before even planning, as somebody initiates that, okay, let's go on holiday, right? So somebody initiates, they think we need to go on holiday. They initiate, why do they need to go on holiday? What is the value? What will happen if they don't go on holiday? Probably they need to unwind. They are already burnt out. So all those things are initiated by someone. Then you plan. After you plan, you execute. You start your car, you start traveling on the designated places wherever you thought you're going to take break. If you're going slow, you probably end up speeding up. If you're going faster, you can afford to take more breaks. So while executing, you monitor your progress and find out, as for the plan, are you going as for the plan, or you're going slow, you're going faster. Depending upon your execution, depending upon you checking and finding out, are you sticking to the plan or deviating from the plan, you control. You don't want to go faster, you don't want to go slower. And eventually you reach your destination and you close it, right? That's pretty much what we do for any activity, which, any activity which has to be done the first time. If it's a repeated task, we tend to not plan for it. We tend to not monitor it too much. For example, every day going to office. Yes, we plan, but then we always stick to the same plan, and we don't follow a very structured approach towards it. But if we are doing it for the first time, a unique activity, pretty much a project, then we follow this flow. So this is the same flow which we have in PMP as well. We initiate a project, somebody has to initiate. Initiating is, you envision that there is a product which you need to make, or there is a service which you need to deliver because of the changing market demand, and there's a new opportunity which has come up. You envision it, somebody envisions it, and they initiate it. In initiating, you see, what if we don't do this? What is the value which we are going to achieve by doing this work? What is the value which we are going to achieve? Why should we do this? Why do we need to check? Why do we need to do this? Because we are investing some money into it, right? So we are investing some money, and in business we don't invest money unless there is expected more value or more returns which you're going to generate by investing even a single penny. So I want to understand, in initiation stage, should I do it or not? Should I invest my money onto this job or not? If I don't invest, what would happen, right? So that is initiation. We invest the money in initiation stage. From initiation, we get 13% questions. In initiations, only two things are there. We prepare the project charter, in which we have the business justification, the goal, details, high-level milestones. This is high-level budget and high-level statement of work. This is what we have in initiation. Then we go ahead and plan for it. So we plan for a lot of things. We plan for how much time do we need to take, how much of the budget do we need to have, right? So even if you are traveling, let's say from California to Las Vegas, you need to understand, would you be able to carry your card, or you need cash to refuel? How much cash do you need? How much of money do you need to have with yourself so that you can enjoy that entire vacation? That bank balance has to be there. Here as well, we plan for time, cost, scope. What is in scope? What is out of scope? We are going to Las Vegas, or we are going to go across anywhere else in Nevada? Just in Las Vegas, or are we going to roam around in other places as well? So we decide the out of scope as well. We plan for, what are the things that we plan for? Let me just mention it over here. Give me a second. Yeah, we plan for these activities. The way I remember this is, let me just write it down, then I will mention it. Right. The way I remember this is TCS, which is the company in India, TCS is headquartered in Costa Rica Park. This is the pneumatic which I've built to remember all the knowledge areas which I need to manage, all the areas which I need to manage when I'm planning for my project. The full form of this is T is the time, right? I need to manage the time, I need to manage the cost, I need to manage the scope. TCS is also called as the iron triangle. So this is the iron triangle that we have. That is T, C, and S. T is time, C is cost, and S is scope. Now why do we call it as the iron triangle or project triple constraint? Imagine if you get additional scope from the client. If you get additional scope from the client, you need additional time and additional time or additional cost or both. If you don't get, what will happen? You won't be able to complete the work on time. So if you change one angle, other two angles has to be changed. Otherwise, you might compromise on quality, which is sitting in between, right? The quality will get compromised. So that's the iron triangle that we have. I is integrate all these together. By changing scope, you need to change time, you need to change cost, you need to change your, you might need to add additional headcount, so your HR gets changed. All that is one change needs to get integrated into multiple documents. S is stakeholders. Our stakeholders, there are three stakeholders that we have. One is the people who are investing in your project, the client, your project board, the people who are giving you the funds to do the project. Very important stakeholder, right? That's what we manage. Second I is invented. My people who are going to work and get the work completed, who are going to develop the product or the service. Inventors, right? That's the second stakeholders. Who's going to use my product, right? So impacted, the people who are going to be impacted with my product. That is my third stakeholder. We plan for all these three stakeholders. Somebody has to do the work and get the work done. That is my HR, human resource. So I need to manage my team. That comes under HR. Quality, what am I delivering to the client? I need to deliver what the client asked for. Nothing more, nothing less. I am going to deliver exactly what the client asked me to deliver, right? C is communication. How do I manage my people? How do I manage my stakeholder? By communicating to them. I manage any project that we do is prone to failure. It can fail. So we have risk that needs to be managed. Risk can be positive. Risk can be negative. Risk is any uncertain event which has a potential of impacting my project, whether positively or negatively, it doesn't matter. Any unambiguous or anything which has not happened but has a potential of impacting my project in a positive or negative manner, that's a risk. And the last one, I might not be an expert in delivering the entire product to the experts. I'm only expert in portion of the work. The remaining part, I want to get it developed from some other organization. So I need to sign a contract with third-party organization to deliver the work for me, right? So that is procurement. These are pretty much the knowledge areas for which we plan. Apart from this, we also plan for changes. If there is any change which is initiated by any of the stakeholder, whether my team member, whether by the project manager himself or herself, or by anyone else, right? So change is inevitable. Whenever the change is initiated, how do we manage the change? So that's another one. We plan for all of these. Once planned, we get the approval, and once approved, we execute it. After executing, while executing, we monitor if you're on track or not. If not on track, we raise the concern. We go back to the project board and take appropriate approvals to increase our budget or to increase the timeline, whatever the case might be. That is controlling, right? And then eventually we deliver the product or the service to the client. They check, they validate if it is meeting the acceptance criteria which they have laid down initially, and the project is closed. When we are closing the project, we do three things: administrative closure, legal closure, and financial closure. Release all the payments. That is financial closure. Legal closure is if you have any contracts open, close those contracts so that you are legally safe. Administrative closure is the people that you have taken in your project, release them. They can work on some other project now, right? So this is the entire process groups. These are called as the process groups that we manage in In a project, the examination questions come 13% from initiation, 8% from closing, 24% from planning, executing 30%, and monitoring and controlling 25%. Initiating and closing are very straightforward, so this 21% should be given. It should be very easy for you to get it. Pass percentage. Now PMI has not told what is the pass percentage for PMP exam, but it is assumed by all the industry standards, by the people who have given the exam and by us who are teaching it, we assume that it is 61% is the pass percentage. Now remaining is only 41% that you need to accumulate, right, to clear your exam. This 13 plus 8% should be very straightforward. You should not miss out on this one because these are very straightforward. Alright, so now before we get started with the project management framework, let's take around 20 minutes. So let's go ahead and take 20 minutes break. You're okay with that? Should we go for our first and the final break, and then after around 20 minutes we'll get back and finish the remaining part of the session? Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
I'm okay with it.
Before we go for the break, Shomik, once again, to give you confidence, don't worry. CAPM, PMP are very similar. The content is absolutely same. The only difference is for CAPM, you don't require project management experience to write the exam. Whereas for PMP, you require project management experience to write the exam. Otherwise, the content is similar. Examination for CAPM is slightly easier. That's the only difference.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. All right then, guys. See you after 20 minutes, and then we will get started from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, guys. Shall we get started?
Yeah, I'm already in.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right, perfect. Let's get started then. Just a moment. Let me share my screen and then we will get started. Oh yeah, yes. All right, so welcome back. Let's get started towards the last session of the day. So we're going to talk about the framework. We already had a detailed discussion about the framework, but then let's repeat it once again. Now, in project management, when we talk about project management, we can divide this term into two. Term into two words. One is project. One is management. What is a project? Project is a temporary endeavor taken to create a unique product, service, or result. Now, project, it gets difficult for people to define a project. Project is something which is temporary in nature, in a way that it has a definite start date and a definite end date. A lot of times in companies we call it as a project where for some other company it has been outsourced, the operations is outsourced to another company, and we call that as a project. That's not a project, that is day-to-day operations. Project will always have a definite start date and the end date, right? And you're always creating a unique product or a service. If you're doing the same work day in, day out for a company, that becomes operations, right? For example, let's say if iPhone wants to come up with a new product in the market, today they have iPhone 6, 6S, they want to come up with, let's say, iPhone 8. They would need to initiate a project for that. There will be two projects, one is for hardware, one is for software, and third one probably is going to be for integration of both of them together. They will have a unique start date, they will have a definite start date and the end date, and the product that they're coming up with was never existing earlier, right? Similarly, in a service environment, if we have to change the way the product is working or operations is working, any change that we initiate, this thing was not existing earlier, that would be a project. If we are there in a company and working on a MI, major incident, which is, day in, day out, we're working on different major incidents. We are working in operations. We are working in an environment where we are producing the same product again and again. That becomes operations. Second part is management, ensuring that the project is successfully delivered, ensuring that the chance of success, I would not say successfully delivered, I would say chance of success is increased by going through a series of defined framework, steps and procedures. That is called as the management. So that is the definition of a project management. What is the value which PMI adds to you? PMI helps the organization to increase the chance of success for a project, and at the same point of time it safeguards you as a project manager. It safeguards you from getting the entire blame on your head if the project fails. Now always remember, when you're in project environment, not always your project will be successful. No matter what you do, some of your projects will fail. I don't want you to go and take the blame on your head, or that would have been a very bad situation if you have to take the blame on your head because of the decisions that you take. Your decisions, there has to be a project board which is party to your decisions. Of course, you are there to take decisions, but with complete transparency, if you inform the project board and they are party to it, the blame will not come on you. Let me take an example here. So sometime back, there was there's a person who is very close to me. He's known to me. He is working as a CIO in he was working as CIO in one of the companies in Dubai. In construction company now, these construction companies will not have the IT department as very big. They will probably have maximum 100, 120 people in that IT department. He was the CIO of that company. Now he initiated certain projects to create procedures, to create processes for the IT department, and he created certain projects to ensure that their IT becomes much more efficient. Now the projects which was initiated, it's not necessary that's going to deliver the intended value, right? Unfortunately, one of his projects failed. Problem was, he did not document a lot of things. The documentation, he did not pay attention towards the documentation. And eventually the blame came on him. He lost his job. The company did not pay him his dues because it got settled the way That company said, I will not file a case against you. You don't have to pay anything to me. I will not pay anything to you. That's how it was settled. Now, any other company which wants to offer a job to him, they call for reference check, and this company gives negative feedback saying that because of him, we lost some money. That is very bad situation to be in. We don't want to be in that situation. That is why normally a lot of people say that PMP focuses a lot on documentation, a lot on preparing documents and maintaining records. Well, it's for us. It's for our own safety. It's for our own safeguard, to safeguard our own interest. Imagine something going wrong with the client. The client is on you and saying that you are not delivering this. If you maintain records, if it goes to court, you are safe, your company is safe because the records are maintained, because the documentation is maintained. The client has signed those contracts. Imagine if your company has a dispute with you. Again, project board is party to it. In those situations, you need certain documentation to safeguard your own interest. At times we don't value those documentation, but it is very important. That's where the planning stage becomes very, very, very crucial, right? Program and the portfolio club all the similar looking projects together. That makes a program. When you have combined all the similar looking projects together to achieve any strategic benefit, that becomes a program, and combining all the programs together to achieve some strategic benefit, that becomes a portfolio. For example, the company might have a portfolio of real estate, then computers, then mobile phones. That's their portfolio. Programs would be 4 or 5 projects working together on .NET or Java. Combining them together, I can share the resources now. So that becomes a program, right? So that's the portfolio is at a very high level, program at second level, and the last level is the projects. Project management, we have spoken about it. So there are different constraints within which the project works. These constraints are called as the scope, quality, schedule, budget, resources, and risk. So in short, if I have to put it, always remember, this is again from the exam point of view also might come, this is called as the iron triangle or project triple constraint, right? So from the exam point of view, they might ask what is project triple constraint. It is TCS or CTS, whichever company you want to remember as. So it is time, cost, and scope. Within this iron triangle, you have a circle of quality and inverted triangle of risk. Right, so these are the two things within this circle, within this triangle. Why do we call this as an iron triangle, hard triangle, triple constraint? Because change one parameter, other 2 parameters has to change. If you don't change it, within this triangle you have a circle of quality which will get squeezed, the internal inverted triangle of risk which will get squeezed, and quality will suffer, risk will increase, right? So that's what happens if you don't change the other 2 parameters as well. Okay, project versus operations. Project has a definite start date and the end date. And when we are doing the project, we are coming up with a unique product or a service, whereas operations, it has a definite start date. Funds are required for operations. People are required for operations, which is similar to project, but it doesn't have a definite end date. You keep on doing the same work again and again, and it eventually becomes mundane task. Role of a project management office, is works at a program level, which which is created to support the project. So they are supportive, they control the projects, they are very directive in nature, supportive in the sense that if a project requires any additional resources, they approach the PMO. If the resource is on leave, if the resource is left, to mitigate the risk, the PMO is created, right? So that's the function of a PMO, project management office. Different type of organizations. Now let's talk about different type of organizations that we can have in our company. There are primarily, I'm sure you have shifted companies. In some companies you would have seen people reporting to you as a project manager, or when you were not a project manager, let's say you were a developer or a tester, you might be reporting to a project manager. And at times you might be working in a company where you were reporting to a quality manager or a functional manager, maybe development manager or a design manager, when you were reporting to these kind of managers, and you were not reporting to the project manager. Project manager was mere coordinator, right? So in certain situations, in certain companies, people don't report to project manager. In certain companies, people report to project manager. In certain companies, it is a situation where it is department to department. Some departments, they have project manager, people reporting to him. Certain departments, they don't have project manager, people reporting to project managers. So there are different type of organizations: functional, projectized, matrix, and composite. Exam perspective, you need to be aware of what these organizations are. From exam perspective, the definition or the peculiarity that is a problem with these type of organizations might come. Functional organization is the organization where people report to the project, where people report to the functional manager, not the project manager. Project manager is a mere coordinator here. So he coordinates, he ensures that the project is completed. Peculiarity now. Peculiarity or the problem in these type of organizations is, now if you don't have people reporting into you, what will happen? The authority would be low. People would not listen to you probably because you don't have any authority over them, right? That's a problem with functional manager: limited authority, limited powers. Then let's talk about the projectized organization. Projectized organization, all the functional managers, people might report to the functional manager and the functional manager report to the project manager, or people directly report to the project manager. So people reporting directly to project manager shares a very high uh, uh, responsibility, and at the same point of time he has got very high power with himself, because people report to him, so he can fire them, he can handle their yearly appraisals, and people are now scared about him. So he has got very high powers. Problem. What is the problem? What is the peculiarity in projectized environment? Imagine yourself reporting only to a project manager. What would happen? After the project is done, you go on to bench. You don't report to anybody, right? So you go on bench. Now people don't know, they have no home. They don't know whom to report to, what to do. So they feel disconnected. That's a problem with the projectized environment. Because of these two, they came up with the matrix environment. Matrix is a company where people report to two different bosses. They report to project manager and they report to the functional manager as well. Now, in that situation, when it's a matrix environment, what would happen with that? What's the problem with that? Yeah, the functional manager shares great powers, similar to the project manager, but people, won't they be confused? I'm reporting to two people. I'm reporting to two managers, functional manager and the project manager. I'm completely confused. I don't know what to do, right? Whom I should answer to. So that's a problem with the matrix environment. Composite is where it is inside a company. You will see certain departments which are which have a projectized environment, certain departments which have a functional environment, certain departments which have a matrix environment. So it's a composite is left up to the business unit. The way they want to structure, they go into structure. That is a composite structure.
So, Bhupender.
Yeah. Sorry guys, so my wife was here. Just a moment, guys. Give me a moment. All right, I'm so sorry. So I had to, I was cut in between. Let's get started once again. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, apologize once again on that. Yeah. All right, so now before we move forward, let me introduce you to a couple of concepts. These concepts are about, the projects, our projects, and how our projects can get impacted. Imagine yourself to be in a healthcare industry, right? So if you're in a healthcare industry and you're working on a project, on a drug, you are trying to make a medicine, you're trying to make a drug, a medicine, which will help cure cancer. And you're working in, let's say, Asian country, one of the Asian country. Suddenly one fine day, due to political environment, the drug which you were using, the compound that you were using, or the salt that you were using got banned in that particular region. Now, you cannot do your project over there. Even though it was cheaper to do it over there, you cannot do it over there because the drug itself, the compound that you were using got banned over there. If you have to continue your project, you have to shift either to EMEA or United States, or you have to probably eliminate that compound and redo the project and see if there is any other alternate, right? That is an environmental factor which can influence your project. Another example would be wherever you're doing your project, the taxation strategies changes. If the certain places the taxation is very high, certain places the taxation is low. Even in the United States, the taxation in Texas is around 20% lesser than the taxes which the companies pay in California or any other place. That's why today the companies are shifting, a lot of companies are shifting their base from California to Texas, right? So this is the environmental factor, where your budget is getting impacted, where your project itself is getting impacted because of your environmental factor. Another example, let's say in your organization, when you're doing your project, you could have done the project, the cheapest way of doing the project would probably have been do the project in the Philippines. Instead of that, your company says that no, you cannot do your project out of just one location because of business continuity planning. They have a policy of business continuity planning. Now you have to do your project from 2 locations, and that too from 2 different regions. You cannot do it from one, only from APJ or from EMEA or from United States. Now the cheaper location was Philippines. You are doing from Philippines, but at the same point of time you are doing a portion of your project from United States, which has increased your budget. What is that? That is your enterprise, your company governing, because of your company policies, your project cost has increased. These are referred as the enterprise environmental factors, right? So these are called as the enterprise environmental factors. Any factor which influences, any environmental or the company factor which influences your project is called as the enterprise environmental factor. So, and whenever we are doing a project, we need to take this into consideration. Whenever we are doing anything, whenever we're doing planning, whenever we're doing execution, whenever we are doing anything, whenever we are trying to prepare a document, whenever we're preparing a document, what happens? We need certain inputs. Let's say we are preparing a tea, right? If I have to go and prepare a tea, I need certain inputs, which is the tea powder, I need milk, I need water. These are some of the inputs which I need. I need the tools and techniques, which is the gas. I need the gas to be there. I need the utensil to be there. Those are tools and techniques. What is the output that I'm generating? The tea itself. Similarly, in a project, whenever we are doing, there are certain inputs which we use. There are certain tools and techniques which we will be using to prepare it, and eventually the output is whatever document that we're generating. Enterprise environmental factor is a common tool, it's a common input to whatever document that we are preparing. It's going to be a common input. Imagine you preparing a planning document that where should I be doing my project. Now, if you have a political environment which is not very stable, let's say the cheapest location would have been Afghanistan where you can do the project. But the political environment, the terrorist activities which happens over there is not very stable, right? So if you do your project over there, it's highly risky. That is why you don't want to do it over there. What is that? That's an environmental factor, right? So all these has to be considered, and that's why these are called as the common input. Do you need to remember all the inputs, tools and techniques and output for any of the documents that we're going to talk about? Not really. This is not what comes in the examination. Examination is only practical approach, right? So they will give you a situation that you're in this situation as a project manager, what you should do. But for us to understand the rules and regulations, we need to understand these inputs, tools and techniques and the output. For example, if you have to play soccer, right, you need to understand if you hit the ball outside the boundary, it's going to be offside. If you cannot hit your own goal, so you need to be aware of the rules and regulations. That is why we will be talking about the tools, techniques, and the outputs. But when you play the game, it is your strategy. Similarly, over here, when you actually go and do your project, you're well aware of the framework, you're well aware of the boundaries. Now, the strategy is left up to you. PMI will not give you any kind of strategy. Strategy is left up to you, right? In the examination, they will test you on your strategies as well. Next is the OPAs, which is Organizational Process Asset. Now, what is the OPA? OPA is, when we talk about the OPA is Organizational Process Asset is, imagine if you have to prepare any kind of documentation, if you have to prepare a document in your organization. Let's say project management plan. Do you prepare it from scratch, or do you take a plan document which was created for a similar looking project in the past? We generally take the similar looking document which was created in the past for similar project, and then we modify it, right? We don't create it from scratch because it's too much of a task. That is organization's process asset. You are taking an asset of that organization and modifying it, right? Even when you are doing your project managers, when you were developers or testers, you might have been told by your project manager to document whatever lessons learned or the errors that were encountered. You were asked to update the issue log. All of that lessons learned document, issue log, daily log, these are termed as the organization's process asset. If these and the enterprise environmental factors becomes your common inputs to each and every document that we prepare, right? Next is the project life cycle. So project life cycle is the life cycle of a project itself. As we spoke earlier, the project first has to be initiated by someone. Then you plan for the project, right? You go and plan for the project. After planning, you execute it. While executing, you monitor and find out if I'm going as per the planning, or do I need to make any changes. Based on that, you control. You control your speed, you control your paths, you control your pace. To control, you modify your plan documents. So planning, executing, and monitoring, controlling goes hand in hand. While monitoring, controlling, you feel that there is a requirement to change the plan document. Only after the plan document is approved, you would change your execution mechanism, right? So that's how it proceeds further. Now, I think we have spoken in detail about all the processes, all the process groups rather. What are the process groups? Initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. And we have also spoken about the 10 knowledge areas that has to be managed in our projects. What are those 10 knowledge areas? TCS is headquartered in Costa Rica Park, which is time, cost, scope, integrate, stakeholder, communication, procurement, risk, quality, these are
human resources.
Absolutely right, and human resources. These are the knowledge areas that we have to manage. Let me give you one video link now. This is a video on YouTube. So either you watch it today, or once we come into our training tomorrow, we can watch it tomorrow as well. So go and watch this video. What I want you to do is, when you're watching this video, this is a video about, now I want you to come on a table of a large project. From PMI perspective, the projects are going to be large, big project that you're handling. Not the small projects that we are quite used to in IT environment. Let's come to the PMI ground. Let's understand what a project management is from PMI perspective. This video is a perfect example of how a project is handled from a PMI perspective. Go through this video, and when you're going through this video, note down what knowledge areas that you see are handled inside this video. Give me the examples also of where do you see these knowledge areas getting applied. For example, if you see any risk, so we see that risk is one knowledge area. How did they plan for the risk? What risks they encountered? And risk could be known risk, unknown risk. How did they encounter that risk? What did they do about the risk? What did they do about quality? What did they do about human resource? What did they do about communication? What did they do about time, cost? Why the project was initiated first of all? What was the need for the project? What was the business case for the project? All of those things I want you to note down on a piece of paper, and then we'll have a discussion on that. So give me just 1 minute. Let me search for that video, and then I will give you the link of the video. I've already sent you the link to your email ID. It's already sent out to your email ID, and I request you to go ahead and watch this video. Now, after you have watched this video, as I said earlier, go ahead and note down. Go ahead and note down what are the knowledge areas that we spoke about, and the process groups that have been applied. That is initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling. And from knowledge area perspective, again, the same thing. TCS is headquartered in Costa Rica Park, which is time, cost, scope, integrate. Then you have HR, communication, stakeholder, risk, procurement. All of these are the knowledge areas which I want you to look at in this particular video, and then tomorrow we're going to have a discussion. So note it down on a piece of paper about what have you noticed, what are the different examples that you've noticed, what are the different examples that you've seen about the different knowledge areas getting applied in the project. So from PMI perspective, we always need to step out of the project that we are into. We might have handled a small project, medium projects, but PMI expects the project in true sense is the mega project, the bigger project, right? So watch this video. You would be able to correlate to it, the project, whether you do in IT, whether you do it in manufacturing, whether you do it in any place, the basics of the project remains the same. When you do this, when you watch this video, you would be easily be able to correlate and find out that how did you apply the similar concepts when you were doing the project in, at your office, or if you have seen your bosses apply those kind of concepts. Of course, there are challenges which your bosses might not have applied properly. That is something which is in reserve. We are going to talk about that, and how can we make it better? How can we ensure that our projects are better? So we are going to talk about all of that tomorrow. First thing that we are going to get started tomorrow is about talking about this particular video, right? So we will talk about what are the different examples that we have seen in the video of various concepts being applied. For example, what is the example that we see about the risk management? What is the example that we have seen over there about the stakeholder management or HR management, or what was the business case, first of all, why the project was taken up? How did we see that the project was initiated? When we initiate the project, there has to be a valid business case. So what was a valid business case? We'll start our discussion tomorrow with that, right? So I think we are done for today. We can break now. We will meet tomorrow, same time, that's 10 p.m. IST. We are going to meet tomorrow, and then we will take it forward from there. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Hope you liked today's session. If you have any concerns, any doubts, you can ask me the questions now, or you can send me an email as well. Any questions that you have which I can clarify now, or are we good to go and we can meet tomorrow?
I think we are good to go.
We are good to go. So if you have any doubt, I'll send you one mail to you.
Yeah. We are good to go. If anything is there, I will contact you through email.
I'm not able to hear you.
Same here.
If anything is there, I will contact you.
So you have to think that you're going to be scored on that. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. I think my speaker was off. Go ahead and let me know. So do we have any questions, any doubts, any concerns?
No, right now I don't have anything. If
Oh.
anything is there, I will contact you or the email.
Sure. And do you like the pace, the way it is going on, or if there is anything, any change that you want me to bring? Are you liking the examples that I'm taking, or there is any specific change that you want to bring? From my perspective, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take the examples of day-to-day activities, the things that we are doing, so that you're able to correlate to the entire content. I hope
Exactly.
you're finding it useful.
That's
Yeah,
useful.
Yeah. All right, perfect then. Thank you for the feedback, and keep that feedback flowing. At any point of time, at any instance, if you feel that we are going too fast, too slow, or you need any clarification, don't hesitate to interrupt. You can anytime ask me any question at any point of time, and of course, you can send me an email as well. We can take that up also. All right then, Somik, Nikesh, it was a great meeting you today. See you both tomorrow. I hope the other participants as well join tomorrow. Have a great day ahead. Enjoy your day tomorrow, and see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
Thank you.